Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Swadhin and today we'll be learning React State and Props. Let's get started. So what is the state? The state contains data specific to this component. Means in my previous video I have explained how we can divide our entire layout into small components. If you have not watched that video, I highly recommend go to that video and watch it. I'll put the link in the description and the I button also. So as I told, the state will contain data specific to that component. And basically in a simplest form, a state can be defined as a JavaScript object. What do you mean by that? Let's switch to VS Code to find out. So this is the project I will get when I do create React app. And we have having basically a class component, and inside that we have a constructor. So let me add our state inside our constructor. So to add a state, I'll use the property state, which is defined in React component. This is basically a JavaScript object. So I'll pass an object to that. And in every object in JavaScript, we pass a key and value pair. And in our case, the key is text and the value will be value. So I've created one state where the property name is text and the value is value. I just need to use this state in our render method. Okay. So to use that, I'll create a h1 element here. And to access the state, what you need to do is we need to access the state object first. So this dot state inside our state object will have a property called text. So now we are able to access the text property which we have created. So if I go to my page now, I'll be able to see the value there. Okay. So now we are able to access the state inside our render method. The next thing is, what if we want to change the value of this text? Okay. Whenever this value will be changed, the render method will be called again. So let me show that in action. So to do that, I'll add a button here first. And this button element name, I'll give change state. Okay. And every HTML element have some event associated with them. So a button have an on click event. So I'll fire that on click event. That will be calling a function which is created in my class. So that will be named as on click. I've not created it. I'll create that now. I'll go to here and I'll create it on click. And on click is basically a arrow function. Okay, I've created an arrow function. Okay, here I did some mistake. I need to add this because this is our current instance. So this, and on this, on click of the button, I want to change the state. So change the state, we can do it in this way also, like this dot state dot text equal to some new value. But this is not recommended by React, because whenever you do like this, after this there is a method called setState which is available inside our React component will be called, and that will override whatever you have changed here. So this is not a recommended architecture by React. So what we'll do, I'll just delete it. I'll use the this dot set state. So this is the method we'll be using to change our state in our class component. So inside our state, I'll pass an object, and this object is basically your state object. Inside the state object, I need a text property, which I've already done. And there I need to define the new value of that. So that will be the old value plus this new text which I'm adding. To access the old value, I'll use this dot state dot text. So what I did basically, I just changed the value of text from this to this. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll go to a page and see whether when I'm clicking on this button, something is happening or not. So when I click on this button, you can see this value is changed. Okay. And this is basically our state value. So whenever I'm clicking on this, our state is changing. So we are able to update our state. So this is one way to update our state. So the next thing is, what is this prop? We have props means property. Okay, properties are the way in which we can pass value from one component to another component. Basically from parent component to child component, we can pass some value. What I mean by that, let me show you an action. So let me create a child component here, that the name will be child.js, and this will be a functional component, and the the value here, I'm just hard coding for now, we'll be changing that in a minute. Child component. Okay, so now I've created a child component. I need to use that in our parent component. To use that, first I need to import that here. So to import that, I'll use import child from, and so I'm able to import that. So now I'll use that inside our render method. So I'll go here inside the render method. After the h1 tag we have, I'll call this child and I'll close it. So basically I've used this child component inside of parent component. If I go to my browser, I'll be able to see the child component here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to pass something from the parent element to the child element, because that is the job of prop. So for that, I'll create one more state that will be called as parent, and the value will be app, because app is the parent we have for all the element. And in our child component, I just want to show a next line that will be parent component name. So, and this name will we want to pass from this app.js state which we are created here, the parent state we created, and this value I want to pass to this child component to show that here. So for to do that, what I will do, I'll just come here, and property we pass as an attribute. So I'll create one attribute parent. This name can be anything, and I'll assign a value. The value will be which value I want to send to the child. In our case, this should be this dot state dot parent, and inside the child component, to access this, whatever the parent sent, to access this will be using props. Okay, we'll be using this props variable to access that. So here I can do something like props dot parent. Okay, so if I save it and I'll go to my page now, see parent component name app. So I'll put a BR there so that there will be a difference. I'll put this in a different h1 tag and that in a different, so that we can see the difference actually. So I'll just put that here, and similarly I'll wrap this in a h1 tag. Okay. Okay. So this is, if I go and save here, you can see that we have a child component and we have a parent component name equal to app, and this app we are getting from the parent value. Similarly, here we pass just a text value. You can pass anything from app component to child component. Okay, and you can use prop for that, and this prop is basically whatever you're passing as a attributes. Okay, and the next thing is, if you remember, this is a single self-closing tag. What if we have something like, suppose I will have a child tag, okay, but not a self-closing. I'll have a end tag also. Okay, I can create like this also, and whatever there inside the child tag means, since see that this is the value we have, right? So I'll have, this is child class. So this value, whatever there inside the tag, to tag, beginning and the end tag, if I want to access this value, I can access that too. So to access that, I need to use, there is something called children. So I'll create another h1 tag, and to access that, I'll create curly braces because I need to write JavaScript code here, props dot children. Okay. If I save it, if I go to the page, on it, let me save it. Okay. Oh, I didn't save it here. I need to save it. So now if I go, I should get a new line. See, I got this new, this is child component, was not there before, because this is the line which I added, which is there inside the tag, not as an attribute. So we have two way to pass prop. First thing, we can pass as an attribute like this, either, or we can pass whatever there inside the tag also as a children, as we show here. Okay, so this is all about prop and state. Okay, before ending this video, I just want to let you know that state can be used in class component only, but after 16.8 we have something called React hooks, in which we can use or create state inside a functional component also. I'll be creating a separate video for that. And this functional component can't modify directly the state. Okay, they need to pass a method from here, a event from here, to change here. Only this class can modify the state. Okay, so this is another point I want to clarify. So that's all about React state and props.